Tomorrow, the Aries new moon does not arrive like a whisper. It arrives like a match struck in a dark room. It arrives like the moment your life realizes it cannot remain what it has been. This is not one of those soft, sleepy cosmic windows where you sit back, make a wish, and hope the universe delivers something wrapped in silk. No, this is a living fire. This is the kind of new moon that divides time into two pieces: the self you were before you answered it, and the self you become. The second you do, if you have been waiting for a sign, if you have been begging for clarity, if you have been standing in the ashes of an old version of your life and asking when it will finally be your turn, you must understand what is happening now. The flame is here, and it did not come to warm your hands. It came to test whether you are ready to step through fire and call it destiny, because Aries does not negotiate with hesitation. Aries does not bow to delay. Aries is the first breath after survival. Aries is the force that says enough waiting, enough shrinking, enough making yourself small so other people can stay comfortable around your potential. With this new moon rising on April 17th, that force is moving through your life like a sacred ignition. The sun in Aries is already demanding truth, courage, and movement. The moon joins it, planting a seed that can only grow if you act, not think, not fantasize, not overprocess. Act. And as this cosmic fire builds, Chiron stands near the sun, which means the wound is part of the doorway. The place where you have felt rejected, embarrassed, silenced, underestimated, abandoned, or unseen is not being reopened to punish you. It is being lit from within so you can finally see what power was hiding inside it all along. And then there is Mercury merging with Neptune, which changes the texture of everything. Because while Aries wants action, Mercury and Neptune make the atmosphere strangely psychic, strangely dreamlike, strangely full of signs that do not always come in logic first. You may receive sudden sentences in your own mind that feel bigger than thought. You may feel a truth before you can explain it. You may wake from dreams that leave emotional residue on your skin. You may hear someone say one simple thing and somehow know it means everything. This is divine communication moving through intuition instead of proof. This is the universe speaking in symbols, body sensations, unfinished memories, flashes of knowing, and moments that make your chest tighten because something in you recognizes the message before your mind catches up. Do not ignore that. Is not confusion for confusion's sake. This is revelation arriving through feeling before this moment. Many of you may have felt like you were living in a long hallway with no doors. You may have felt suspended between chapters. Too aware too. Go back to the old life, but not yet anchored in the new one. You may have been carrying emotional exhaustion that you could not even fully explain. Kind of fatigue that rest did not fix. A heaviness that followed you into mornings. A silence in your spirit that made you wonder whether you had somehow fallen out of alignment, whether the universe had forgotten your name, whether the dream you once felt so vividly had gone cold. You may have been receiving mixed signals in love, delays in money, strange distance in your closest connections, and a growing feeling that something invisible was pressing on your chest. It's asking for change without yet revealing its full form. Some of you have been grieving versions of yourself that never got to exist. Others have been grieving opportunities that almost happened, love that almost stayed, breakthroughs that almost arrived. And that kind of almost can become its own prison, because almost keeps the nervous system in suspense, almost teaches the heart to doubt celebration. It almost makes you afraid to believe again. You may have started telling yourself to be realistic, to lower the vision, to stop expecting intensity, to stop believing life could transform in one decisive act. But the Aries new moon does not respect the numbness you built to survive disappointment. It comes like a flame to the frozen places. It comes to burn through the stagnant air. It comes to ask the question you have been avoiding. What if the life you want is not blocked because it is impossible, but because you have not yet made the move that proves you are serious enough to receive it? This is where everything changes. Because this new moon is not only about beginnings, it is about courage becoming visible. It is about spiritual readiness turning into real-world motion. Under this sky, you are being shown that destiny is not merely a thing that happens to you. Destiny is also something you choose with your behavior. It is something you claim every time you stop betraying what you know. Every time you say the thing you were afraid to say. Every time you refuse to keep carrying dead emotional weight out of loyalty to pain. Every time you stop circling the same fear and finally walk through it. That is why the next 48 hours matter. not because one ritual fixes your life, not because one affirmation rewrites your timeline, but because there are moments when the universe opens a flame in front of you and says, if you step now, I will meet you with force. The first bold move this new moon demands is the move of claiming your voice, not performing confidence, not pretending to be unbothered, claiming your voice, which means telling the truth where you have been editing yourself, where you have been smiling politely while your spirit contracts, saying yes where fear has been disguising itself as practicality. Some of you need to send the message. Some need to stop sending messages altogether. Some need to ask for more. Some need to stop begging to be chosen in rooms that keep treating them like an option. Some need to finally admit what they want, what they feel, what they are done tolerating. Aries rules the self, the raw I am, the holy right to exist without apology. And with Chiron involved, this is especially powerful. Because your voice may have been wounded long ago. You may have learned that speaking up led to punishment, embarrassment, conflict, abandonment, or being misunderstood. But the flame does not ask whether your fear is understandable. It asks whether you are ready to stop letting that old wound run your future. The second bold move is the move of releasing dead weight. And this is where the new moon becomes ruthless in the most sacred way. Dead weight is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is a habit. Sometimes it is a connection that drains your self-respect, one quiet conversation at a time. Sometimes it is an old identity you still carry because it once kept you safe. Sometimes it is the version of you that learned to survive by dimming your fire, staying agreeable, staying available, staying in limbo, staying one step away from your own life. This moon is exposing what has expired. It's the dream that no longer fits, the attachment that costs too much energy, the financial pattern built on fear, the emotional loop that keeps you waiting for someone else to become who they have repeatedly shown they are not. Releasing dead weight may look simple from the outside, but spiritually, it is one of the bravest acts a person can make, because it means trusting that space is not emptiness. Space is where the fire lands. The third bold move is the move of stepping into the life you have been too afraid to imagine all the way through, not halfway, not as a fantasy you visit when you are alone. Fully, this is the move of allowing yourself to outgrow your current emotional ceiling. It's to admit that part of you has been more afraid of your own expansion than of your own pain. Because pain is familiar, struggle can become an identity, longing can become a home, but receiving changes everything. Receiving requires you to believe you can hold more love, more truth, more visibility, more responsibility, more money, more joy, more power. And that is why this new moon feels so intense for many people. It is not only burning away the old, it is confronting the part of you that still thinks your destiny is too much to ask for. Mentally and emotionally, this transit can feel like a pressure wave. You may notice a restless intensity that makes it hard to stay inside old excuses. You may feel your thoughts speeding up, but not in a random way. It's more like a series of inner realizations clicking into place. You may suddenly see the pattern beneath your recent experiences, why certain people pulled away, why certain plans stalled, why you felt disconnected from things you once chased so desperately. The mind under Aries energy can become sharper, more decisive, more impatient with confusion. But with Mercury and Neptune together, this clarity may arrive through strange routes. Through a conversation that echoes in your mind hours later, through a memory resurfacing at exactly the right moment, through tears that seem to come from nowhere, through a deep internal sentence you did not construct but somehow receive. There may be moments where you feel split between urgency and softness, between action and surrender, between wanting to move now and needing one final moment to understand what your soul is actually asking for. That tension is part of the fire. It is refining you. Spiritually, you may feel more watched than usual, but not in a fearful way, in a meaningful way. As if your life is at a checkpoint, as if invisible forces are paying close attention to what you choose when no one else can see how hard it is. Some of you may feel sudden chills, heightened intuition, strong déjà vu, or the sense that people are revealing themselves without trying. Some may feel called to clean spaces, throw things away, change routines, or protect their energy more fiercely. That is not random. The soul knows when a threshold is opened. And the flame, as a motif in this transit, is not only destruction, it is purification. It is discernment. Fire reveals what can endure, and what was only ever held together by fear, fantasy, or delay. Physically, this energy can move through the body in vivid ways. Aries rules the head, and many may experience pressure in the forehead, tension in the jaw, heat in the face, trouble sleeping, or waking with sudden thoughts that feel urgent. The body may feel activated even if you are emotionally drained. You may notice a quicker heartbeat during certain realizations, tightness in the throat when you're about to say something true, or a wave of fatigue right after emotional clarity arrives. That is because insight is not only mental, truth moves through the nervous system. Old fear patterns live in the body, and when a transit like this begins loosening them, the body speaks. Listen to it. Do not treat every sensation like a problem to eliminate. Some are signals. Some are the sound of old energy leaving. Now, let us talk about money, because this new moon has real implications for abundance and self-worth. Aries does not want passive money. It wants courageous money, initiated money, money that follows movement, clarity, self-respect, and decisive action. If you have been undercharging, delaying a launch, shrinking your ambition, or staying financially entangled with situations that undermine your independence, this new moon can become a turning point. But it will ask you to be honest.
Where have
you been acting like scarcity is wisdom? Where have you confused self-protection with self-sabotage? Where have you remained loyal to old financial fear, even when your soul was clearly calling you toward expansion? Chiron near the sun suggests that for many, money is tied to an old wound around deserving, visibility, or rejection. You may deeply want more, but part of you still fears being judged, abandoned, or attacked for becoming more powerful. This transit brings that wound into the fire, so it can stop secretly controlling your earning capacity. Mercury with Neptune also adds a layer of intuition around financial choices. This is not the time to ignore subtle discomfort around a deal, partnership, a promise, or a purchase that feels glamorous but unstable. Watch for illusion. Watch for emotional spending, driven by emptiness. Watch for vague language, unclear offers, and people who sell dreams without structure. At the same time, do not underestimate inspired ideas. A creative concept, a sudden plan, a new offer, a brave pitch, or a business direction that feels spiritually aligned could arrive now with unusual force. The message is not to become reckless. The message is to become spiritually clear and practically brave. This new moon rewards action that is rooted in self-trust, not desperation. So protect your resources, but do not hide from expansion. Invest where your future is alive. Cut where your energy is leaking. The flame in your finances asks one question. Are you ready to stop earning from survival and start building from identity? Your health and body are part of this spiritual story as well. Do not separate them. Under this kind of cosmic fire, your body becomes both messenger and mirror. If you are dehydrated, overstimulated, emotionally flooded, or sleep-deprived, this energy can hit harder. You may feel irritable more quickly. You may react before you reflect. You may mistake activation for anxiety when what you actually need is grounding. This is why nervous system regulation matters now. Hydration matters. Slower breathing matters. Less digital noise matters. Rest matters. Not because you are weak, but because your body is processing an upgrade in real time. If grief has been sitting under the surface, you may feel it release through fatigue. If anger has been buried beneath politeness, you may feel it surface through heat or tension. If your intuition has been ignored, the body may get louder until you listen. Pay attention to sleep in the next 48 hours. Dreams may become more symbolic, more vivid, more emotionally charged. Keep water near you. Give yourself a few minutes of silence before making major moves. Stretch the neck, jaw, shoulders, and chest, because these areas may hold the tension of unspoken truth. Eat in a way that stabilizes your body, because Aries fire can make people skip grounding and then wonder why the emotions feel uncontrollable. Your body is not interrupting your spiritual life. It is carrying it. And when you care for it during a transit like this, you give the flame somewhere clean to burn. Relationships and communication may be the most revealing part of this entire new moon, because when the self ignites, every bond built on confusion starts trembling. You may suddenly see where you have been over-explaining yourself to people who were never truly listening. You may notice who becomes uncomfortable the moment you become clear. You may feel the difference between real support and performative affection. Some people love your softness, but resist your power. Some love your availability, but not your boundaries. Some love the version of you that keeps waiting, keeps forgiving, keeps offering benefit of the doubt. But the Aries New Moon is not here to keep the peace at the price of your self-respect. This is a potent time for one honest conversation, one message, one clear boundary, one sentence that changes the emotional structure of a connection. If someone has been giving mixed signals, watch actions over words. Someone says they care, watch whether their behavior creates safety or confusion. If someone disappears when depth is required, believe what the pattern is showing you. Mercury and Neptune can make communication emotionally charged, symbolic, and spiritually significant, but they can also blur facts if you let longing do the interpreting. So stay awake. Listen with your intuition, but verify with behavior. This is not cynicism. This is mature spiritual discernment. For those in relationships, this new moon can light up old wounds around independence, emotional honesty, and being truly seen. You may realize you have been swallowing needs to avoid conflict. You may recognize that you have been calling emotional inconsistency complexity when it is actually a lack of readiness. Or, if the bond is real, this transit can create a breakthrough where truth finally enters the room and both people become more courageous. Real intimacy deepens under honesty, not under avoidance. So if a relationship is meant to grow, the flame will purify it. If it is built on vagueness, delay, and emotional convenience, the flame may expose that too. For those who are single, this transit is less about chasing love and more about resetting the frequency from which you choose it. You are being asked to stop romanticizing uncertainty. Stop confusing intensity with alignment. Stop mistaking potential for presence. The most magnetic thing you can do now is become unavailable for what destabilizes your spirit. That is how destiny recognizes you. That is how the next chapter begins to find you. Not through desperate pursuit, but through energetic congruence, to becoming the version of you that no longer bargains with emotional confusion. So what should you actually do during this transit? First, speak one truth you have been postponing. Say it calmly, clearly, and without decorating it for someone else's comfort. Second, remove one source of dead weight from your life within the next 48 hours. Delete it, end it, return it, cancel it, release it, step back from it, or stop feeding it. Make the action real. Third, take one step toward the life you keep imagining. Send the application, publish the work, ask for the rate, make the plan, start the thing, open the account, clear the room, move your body, buy the domain, record the voice note. Whatever it is, let the universe see you moving, because movement under an Aries new moon becomes a signal. Tells destiny you are no longer visiting your future in fantasy. You are walking toward it. Also, be careful not to confuse urgency with chaos. Aries wants movement, yes, but sacred movement, not impulsive destruction. There is a difference between boldness and self-abandonment. There is a difference between following the flame and setting your whole life on fire because you are angry. So pause before reacting from ego. But do not pause so long that fear disguises itself as wisdom. You will know the difference by how your body feels. Ego urgency feels hot, frantic, and unstable. Soul courage feels sharp, clean, and strangely calm, even when it is scary. Learn that sensation. It will guide you. Now, let us move into the 3 zodiac signs most affected by this new moon, because for some of you, this is not just strong energy. It is a direct summons. Aries, this is your fire, your reset, your moment of resurrection. The new moon is happening. In your sign, which means the universe is handing you a mirror made of flame, you cannot hide from yourself now. You cannot keep pretending you do not know what must change. The past version of you has reached its limit, and somewhere deep down, you already know it. The wound around your identity, your confidence, your right to exist as you are, has been quietly shaping to many of your choices. Maybe you have been acting brave while secretly doubting your worth. Maybe you have been performing independence, while still carrying pain from where you were not chosen, not protected, not understood. But this new moon says enough. Your healing is no longer meant to be private. It is meant to become visible through the way you move. The next chapter of your life begins the second you stop waiting for permission to become yourself in public. If you are Aries, this is the time to initiate, decide, speak, and claim. Not later, not when it feels safer. Now the flame is in your hands. What you do with it will echo. Libra, this new moon confronts you through the axis of self and relationship. And that means your lessons are arriving through people, through mirrors, through the places where you have compromised too much, delayed too long, or called imbalanced love because you were afraid of what honesty might cost. You may be seeing very clearly now who truly meets you and who only enjoys access to your grace. You may feel torn between keeping harmony and honoring your own fire. But the truth is that real peace has never required your self-erasure. This is the moment where you stop treating your needs like interruptions. This is the moment where your standards rise because your soul is tired of elegant suffering. If you are Libra, the bold move is not to be louder for the sake of it. Is to become truer, to say what you mean, to stop making yourself endlessly understandable to people who benefit from misunderstanding you. The flame for you burns in the space between pleasing and becoming. Choose becoming. Cancer, this new moon, reaches into your life through purpose, public direction, emotional ambition, the future you are meant to build with your own hands. And this can feel especially intense because part of you craves safety, while another part knows you have outgrown the shelter you once depended on. You may feel exposed right now, pressured, called to step into a larger role before you feel fully ready. But that discomfort is not failure. It is expansion. The old emotional pattern that says stay hidden, stay soft, stay where you can be protected, is meeting a new force that says your life requires visibility now. If you are Cancer, the question is not whether you are capable. The question is whether you are willing to let people see your power without apologizing for it. Career shifts, reputation changes, bold decisions, and a new sense of mission may all be moving beneath the surface. Trust what is building. The flame for you is not cruel, it is crowning. But you must stop shrinking every time your future gets close. And even if your sign was not named, do not assume this message is not yours. If your chest tightened when you heard this, it is yours. If something in your spirit became still, it is yours. If you have felt the pressure building, the restlessness, the strange knowing that life cannot continue in the same shape much longer, then this transmission found you for a reason. This Aries new moon is not asking everyone to move in the same way, but it is asking everyone to move honestly. Your destiny under the sky is not hidden in complexity. It is hidden in the brave thing you already know. So as April 17th opens and this fire gathers around your life, remember the motif we have? Return to again and again the flame. Not the wildfire of panic, not the destruction of recklessness, the sacred flame. The one that reveals, purifies, activates, and initiates. The one that shows you what is still alive and what has already turned to ash. The one that asks you to stop standing at the edge of your own becoming. You have spent enough time preparing. You have spent enough time decoding the signs. You have spent enough time living in the hallway before the door. This is the moment when the door becomes fire and you realize you were never meant to wait for it to cool down. You were meant to walk through it changed in the next 48 hours. Do not minimize what your intuition tells you. Do not chase what confuses you. Do not hold on to what has already ended just because the ending came slowly. Do not talk yourself out of the move that could alter your future. If something feels alive, answer it. If something feels expired, release it. If something true rises in your throat, speak it. And if fear appears, let it appear. Courage was never the absence of fear. Courage is what happens when your soul finally becomes more important than the comfort of staying the same. This new moon is a reset. Yes, but more than that, it is a verdict. A verdict on the waiting. A verdict on the half-life. A verdict on the version of you that kept standing outside your own destiny, asking whether it was really meant for you. Let this be the moment you stop asking. Let this be the moment you answer. Because the universe is not whispering this time. It is calling your name through fire. It is reminding you that your deepest wound can become your greatest authority. That your voice can become the key. Your release can become the opening. That your boldness can become the bridge between the life you survived and the life you are finally ready to live. So take the step, make the move, honor the fire. Tomorrow's Aries new moon is not just lighting the sky, it is lighting you. And if you are willing to meet it with courage, the life that begins now will not look anything like the life you were settling for before. This is your before and after. This is your ignition. This is your sacred command. And the flame is waiting.